Maverick 100.9, Aggie Lands Country Alternative. It's Corliss, and it's officially been a year since I met Cannon Brandnow. Did you realize that, bud?
I did not realize that. It's been a year, huh? I knew I was up there around this time.
It was so funny how, yeah, I met you at the award show last year, and then you came by the studio to see me almost immediately afterwards. So
Yeah, that's right.
I'm really excited to see how the year has gone for you. So we are gonna chat
Absolutely.
about that, and but you have brought us a brand new single today as well. We got to talk about wine, beer, and whiskey. Sir, are
Yeah.
you even old enough for wine, beer, and whiskey?
Yeah, I am
Okay,
now. Just now, though. I'm pretty fresh. I had my first legal drink in December of last year. So and
well,
and I got braces.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I got braces and cut all my hair off, and it's not helping my case much. But hey, I'm legal now. The next time somebody tells me my ID is fake, I'm going to tell them to call the cops. So.
Right, right. Be like, try me, try me. Well, I do have to ask, what is it like singing with the braces? Because I have wanted braces, and I'm too afraid to mess up my speech pattern because speech is kind of how I make a living, but music is how you make a
Yeah.
living. How is that?
It's totally fine. I had
Oh,
the same worries. I had the same worries too. I had been doing the Invisalign thing, and
uh-huh.
um, I kept up with it really good for a while. But then, with the whole musician lifestyle and how crazy and busy and all over the place it is, it's like really hard to keep up with. And I lost track of it. I got so far behind to a point of no return, and I just had those little things on my teeth for no reason, basically, and I was like, man, I need to do something, either just ditch it completely and have these things taken off, or just get braces, something I don't have to mess with. So I kind of just went. I talked to some people, went for the braces, um, and it is so much better. It's so much better than Invisalign was. The only reason I did Invisalign to begin with was because of music and singing and
So
pictures
for
and
the
stuff
same
like that.
reason that I
Yeah,
haven't.
yeah, but yeah, it's actually worse, and you get older and you start to figure out like nobody's gonna dislike you or make fun of you because you have braces at an older age. Like nobody cares.
Right.
So I got them, and I will say I had a list for like 3 days, but as
But
soon
it went
as
away.
yeah, you figure it out really quick. I mean, I was back to singing totally normal in like 3 days, so it hasn't bothered me at all. It's actually been great. I'm excited to finally be fixing it all up.
Well, now I feel stupid letting myself get to 33 years old without having it done.
Yeah, it's definitely 110% not nearly as bad as you would expect.
Okay.
In fact, uh, I would say Invisalign is like a lot worse. Because I've had it.
Okay.
So yeah,
We took like a
yeah,
whole left turn, but I had to know. I had to
yeah.
know. I
In
know.
case any of y'all out there were wondering, now you got all the info.
Having braces as an adult is fine. You are fine. Everything's fine. Okay. So back to wine, beer, and whiskey. Tell me about the song.
So, song has a pretty cool story. I used to write songs totally by myself for the longest time, and then I kind of got into the world of co-writing, and figured out how much you can do and what great things you can accomplish doing that. Which I was kind of late to the co-writing game, I guess. It's weird. It's like I just didn't think to do it or something, but that being said, a lot of really wonderful songs on the record I co-wrote with other great folks. But Wine Beer Whiskey is one I just wrote on my own, and to see it, being chosen as the single and doing so well was pretty cool. Because I'm like, hey, I still got it on my own too. But I sat down. I was at home in my music room, and I started taking a riff that to me sounded kind of outlawish, kind
Sure.
of it reminded me of Chris Stapleton type of things, and so I wanted the song to feel that way as well, Um, so I kind of come up with the first lines about basically, you kind of been everywhere, done everything, and you still can't figure out the right person for you, that kind of thing. And I liked where it was going. And then I'm like, okay, it has to be a drinking song too. It's got to be both.
They go hand in hand, you know?
Yes, exactly. And a lot of people would say or think, oh man, you don't want to write too many drinking songs or this and that because everybody writes drinking songs. Well, not me. I write all love songs and heartbreak songs, and there was like I didn't have any upbeat drinking songs. So I'm like,
You
damn it,
really weren't all that
one.
experienced, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so I wrote the first verse and the chorus, and I really liked it. I recorded a little demo, but then I got stuck. I had to go do some stuff. I just left it alone, kind of forgot about it for a couple months until last year's T3R Awards. I had gotten there early. I parked in the parking garage across the street, and we were scheduled to go in the studio the next day after the awards. And I had 3 songs set to be recorded, but 2 of them I loved, and the third I was like, it's good, people like it, but I don't know, So I was thinking to myself, I really want to finish that wine, beer, and whiskey song just so I have it in my back pocket when I go to the studio tomorrow. And I sat in the passenger seat of my truck, pulled out my guitar, and wrote the second verse and like that, and I loved it. And it was just one of those things that just worked out that way, And
How
so
funny.
I walked into the awards feeling good, knowing I just wrote that song, And we took it to the studio the next day. We recorded the first 2 songs, and then I looked at everybody who I've been recording with for years now. I'm like, look, guys, so I know we're supposed to be doing this song, but y'all listen to this. And I played it for everybody, and everybody was just immediately on the same page. Yeah, we're doing that. Yeah, So
Yes,
so
yes.
it was another one that was just kind of this last minute thing that we recorded, and it felt good, and it was a lot of fun to record, and kind of went on to be one of the highlights of the record, I would say, So, and I'm really, really grateful for Tammy Millspaw promoting another single for me this year. My first single I did with Tammy didn't perform like we wanted it to, and it wasn't because of me or Tammy or anything like that. It was just the song, and not that it wasn't a good song. It just wasn't the right song, and so I was grateful that she was still, ready and willing to do another one with me, and to see that. And I got a lot of feedback from a lot of different people on what should be the single. And I'm really glad that this song's doing so well for me and for her and everything. So it's really been great. It's a fun song, got a great video with it, and excited to see how much further it'll go. So
Absolutely. Well, then good on you for pushing yourself. It's so hard as a songwriter. You tend to fall in love with your songs. You're excited about them. They're your baby. You put your whole heart and soul into them. Good for you to just kind of critique yourself and say, I'm not going into the studio with my best. And I know I've got something better in me. And once you can kind of criticize yourself, not harshly, but enough, you can make a much better product out of that. So, you've now learned that lesson. That's such a good lesson for you to take with you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, that's actually the second time that I changed and recorded a different song in the studio at the very last second. And the last time I did that was to record a song called Me and You, which was my first hit of sorts.
Yeah.
It was my best charting single until this one.
Yeah.
And it's still my most streamed song. So I guess when I get to thinking that and pull the last minute recording of a song, it seems to go well for me, I guess.
That's weird how that's like
Yeah.
a common occurrence now.
Yeah,
So
it is weird. Yeah, it's
you
twice in
should
a row.
definitely be listening to your gut.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
You got a
so-
good gut on you.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, good. We're going to let everybody have it on Maverick 100.9 for the first time. We got Cannon Brand's new single, Wine, Beer, and Whiskey. Due to copyright, Brian Broadcasting is not licensed to air this single for you in podcast form, but you can now find it anywhere that you stream and download music. And today's interview continues now. Maverick 100.9, you heard it here first. That was Cannon Brand, Wine, Beer, and Whiskey. I got Cannon on with me, and you said there's a brand new video out for this as well.
Yes, yeah, we recorded a video. I was up at Steamboat Music Fest hanging out with Kyle Hutton and his son, Kason Hutton.
Shout out to Kyle. I know he's always listening to Maverick here in Aggie Land.
Oh yeah, Kyle's the man. So is Kason, and he's an incredible photographer and videographer, and he's just a total pro all the way around the board. And we were just hanging out, as friends, playing songs and just hanging out. And he was like, "Hey, look, I have this idea for the video for Wine, Beer, Whiskey, but just hear me out before you say anything." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Okay, so you can't find the right girl for you. This old girl is just still haunting you around every corner, blah, 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 right?" And I'm like, yeah, okay, of course. And he's like, "But what if we make the girl a truck?" And I'm like, "What?" And I literally laughed out loud. And then he went on to describe his idea. Like in the beginning of the video, I sell my truck and then turn around like I've upgraded and go get in a brand new Corvette or something, and then then I pull up to the bar in the new car and you get all the nice drinking shots and all that. But then the truck that you sold is just following you around every corner, like stuff like that. And we ended up making it into the second verse in saying, "Until I fall asleep, like you start haunting me again." And so we made the part of the video basically like a dream sequence, like this crazy dream sequence of me getting chased by my old truck, and it was just a ton of fun to make. We got kicked out by the cops from a few filming locations. It was just, we got the truck stuck one time and didn't get to finish. It was just the craziest thing. So much work and effort and fun and problems went into this video, and it's so fun seeing the way that it turned out. It's supposed to convey the message of the song, but also be fun at the same time, and I think that's what we accomplished, and it looks great. Kason killed it, and everything he does is just awesome. Kyle helped a lot too. Kyle was the stunt driver driving this truck right here, chasing me around. So I highly encourage y'all to go see it.
I'm gonna have to talk to Kyle now about this. This is too funny. I love this.
You definitely should. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm on my lunch break working today. I'm sitting this truck. Fun fact for y'all: this truck is the one in the music video. This old Ford here. So
that's great. And that's kind of funny because my old truck haunts me. Like my first vehicle period was a 1993 Dodge Ram. And I think when I was 20, which was a long time ago, well over a decade ago that I turned 20, I always had hand-me-down vehicles from my parents, and my mom gave me her minivan, and I sold the truck. And the guy that I sold it to works at Walmart in Great Bend, Kansas, where I'm from. And when I go back to Kansas, that truck is still in the parking lot. It is still rolling.
Still going? That's
it
awesome.
Is 30 years old and still rolling. And I regret so badly because I could
Yeah.
still have that truck. If I would have
Yeah.
never
Oh,
sold
yeah.
it, I could still have that truck. As my
Yeah.
current car is in the shop with outrageous, like I'm dropping $1,100 today. And that blows my mind that I could just still have that old rickety truck that would be running just fine.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This truck here is my baby, the one that I'll never sell.
Don't get rid of it. Don't
it's
do it.
yeah. Oh, I'm
And
not. It's 22 years old, 362,000 miles.
it's going to last forever. And we made the same mistake again in 2020. We go to get my husband a new truck and we trade in his old one for the new one. Not even a month later, my car breaks down. And if we would have just kept his old Chevy, I still would have been driving that Chevy. So instead of one vehicle payment, now I'm making two because I traded in his truck instead of my car. Gosh darn it. I'm learning way too many rough life lessons right now. So if y'all take anything away today, don't sell your darn truck.
Yeah, don't sell your old reliable truck.
Don't.
It's a bad idea.
Gosh, we thought we were so
It's
smart.
worth-
Like, we're going to get rid of this before it breaks down. Nope.
Yeah, it's worth. Sometimes they're worth more as a truck than they are in whatever you're going to get out of them when you sell them. So.
Yeah, 100%. Well, on top of all of this, Cannon, this year you also finally got to release your debut full-length album called Long Time Coming, which is very understandable. I don't think people quite understand, and you can explain further on this, but how young you started and how much work actually went into this.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've been playing music professionally for a lot longer than people would assume, you know, and I put out my first EP when I was 16.
Yeah.
And I had just turned 16 too. I spent the last year recording it and writing it and stuff. And but yeah, that was released in 2018, and we released some singles and stuff in between. But we started recording the full length record over at Stormy Cooper Media in Houston. We started recording it in February of 2020, like right before COVID happened.
Yeah.
And we got the first 3 songs done, and then we were just, you know, pretty much screwed for a while. And, you know, that put a hitch in the plans. And of course, you know, just time and money, and it just takes a while. I had the songs, I always had the songs, you know, but yeah, it ended up being pretty much, you know, over 3 years to get it done. And, but I'm kind of grateful it did go that way, because there was no rush, you know, there was no set thing that had to happen. And there was, you know, we weren't rushing to finish up the record and just throw that song on there. We got to get it done, you know? It ended up being a collection of every single song I really wanted to be on the record, you know? And it reminds me of the Sum 41 record called All Killer No Filler.
Yes.
That's what I tell people is like, this record is all killer, no filler, you know?
Did you know that they announced they broke up today?
Today?
Today.
What the heck?
I'm not kidding you.
You're giving me sad news.
I'm so sorry, but it's kind of been weighing on me because I wanted to go see them last year. They were touring a lot and I didn't. And I'm like, well, Sum 41 has stuck together for like 20 years. Nope.
Yeah.
They ended it today.
Well, dang, that sucks. Well,
I know.
I think Tom DeLonge coming back to Blink-182 makes up for it, though.
Agreed. 100%. And country music got Jarrett Ray Reddick from Bowling for Soup. So that's
awesome.
We get to simultaneously have Bowling for Soup and Jarrett Ray Reddick at the same time. And I think we've been really spoiled with that.
Yeah, that is awesome. I know I've been following all that as well. I've loved Bowling for Soup for forever too. And then I saw him put out his solo record and I'm like, man, this guy just does everything.
I know.
You know?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe before, give it another decade, and maybe one of these days you'll be making a pop punk record.
I would not put it past me.
I wouldn't
Especially
either.
if I have already established my whole country world, I'm definitely making a rock record because I mean that's where I started doing
Yes.
all that, and like I still have some songs that I wrote and recorded from that era, things that I still think are good,
Yes.
and then and all of our live shows, anybody that comes and sees the band live knows that I'm just a country dude with a rock band. That's kind of the thing. So, I mean, that part of me never left, really. So maybe one day.
It's funny. I always tell people that kind of cringe at me when I tell them I listen to rock. I always tell them it's country music with just different instruments. That's it. Like, listen to any Avenged Sevenfold song and tell me those songs are not country. They are all country.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of blurred lines, man. And you can mix a lot of things together and come up with some cool stuff, I think.
There we go. We're putting inspiration out there for Cannon Brand today.
Yeah, y'all are trying to get me to go do a rock record. It is cool though. Like the record is so diverse. That's another thing I like about it. It's not just the same sounding stuff every time. Like you go from like borderline just straight up rock to super country, like just totally, possibly could have come out of the 90s, like straight country, to some pop influence, and there's a little bit of everything on the record, and that's why I think it's something that a lot of people can love.
Yeah. Well, that's what, gets me interested in something. I get bored way too easily. I got ADHD up here. Like,
yeah.
Got to keep it rolling. So everybody, the new album from Cannon Brand is available everywhere now. It's called Long Time Coming. Go get that along with the brand new single, Wine, Beer, and Whiskey, and check out that funny music video. That's what I'm going to do as soon as I hang up with Cannon, is go check that out. But one last question for you, back on the topic of wine, beer, and whiskey. Now that you can legally have those drinks, which one do you choose out of the three?
Oh, man. Number one is whiskey.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm a sucker for a really good old fashioned, and I just recently kind of jumped into the world of figuring out like what whiskeys and bourbons and stuff are like really good,
Yes.
And like I have a couple of decanters of my favorite stuff on my counter at home, and people come over and I'm like, hey, y'all want some good stuff? I got it here.
Yes.
And I got really good at making all that. So that's kind of funny. It kind of turned into a mini hobby. But I don't know. It's hard to say because I drink them all. I like them all. I used to hate wine, obviously.
Right.
But, then I went to Traverse City, Michigan for work. And while I was there, visited some of those wineries and really kind of like tried things out and learned about it. And like I figured out there's some damn good wine out there too, and so, man, I can't even say I like it all. I'm not an alcoholic, but I like all of it.
My husband is the exact same. We've got the whiskey decanter up on the bar shelf. But he has this past year, keeping a box of wine in the refrigerator at all times. And it's super random. I'm just not used to seeing him walk out of the kitchen holding a glass of wine, but that is something that our life has turned into now.
Yeah, that's pretty new for me too. We got the little wine rack on the counter too.
Yes. Well, look at Cannon Brand, man. He's growing on up right in front of our eyes, and we'll be catching up with him as time goes on. A lot more music to be released. So, of course, Cannon, as always, it's great to have you here on Maverick.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. It's always a good time. Appreciate y'all a lot.